Welcome to the key. This is mini lesson 26. We are still in the midst of this coronavirus shutdown. If you're out there, you're in my thoughts. To be honest, you are. And the best of luck to you out there. I know these are tough times. All right. If you have time to study and you want to do some studying, here we go. This is Juveniles Part II. All right. Last lesson I sent out 2 weeks ago was summonses. There were interim orders regarding ESTS, right? Electronic summons tracking system. So the week before that was Juveniles Part 1. All right, I'm looking for Juveniles Part 1 right now. That came out at the beginning of March. My lesson to you came out at the beginning of March. A few weeks after it came out, about 3 weeks after it came out, an interim order came out and changed some specific things in there. So I'm going to reissue that. And I'm going to teach a little bit of it right now at the beginning of this lesson. So this is 26 and an update to 24, all right? Regarding 24, did you want to come out and change something in 215.01 and also in today's lesson 215.03, and here it is. Notifying the state central registry. When you got an abused kid or a kid that needs shelter, notify the state central registry. And there's a bunch of sub-steps that surrounded that. If they refuse the case, put their name on the telephone record, call Administrative Children's Services, and on down the line. It was a whole set of steps. It was a step with sub-steps. They took it away from the desk officer and gave it to the cop. Huge. This is one of the reasons you need to be up to date with your interim orders. Think about it on a data test. Which of the following is not the properly stated duty of the desk officer? Notify the state central registry for an abused kid or a kid that needs shelter. That's been correct your whole career. That's been correct my whole career. They're going to go after something like that. Maybe not that one, but maybe that one. All right. This is a major change. All right. And then the remaining things that happen in 215.01, I redid the whole lesson. Because now that notification is no longer the duty of the desk, it's a duty of the cop, the desk's only got two basic steps. Check, make sure the notification is done right, and then follow up with the youth officer where the kid is residing. So here's what we did. You'll notice this. Take 215.1 in the patrol guide and take the key lesson plan. Go through it step by step, and at first it seems confusing. And let me tell you something. This is how you become a key student. This is how you join and understand our method. Right now, 215.01. It says, they repeat themselves many times in the patrol guide. If there's no friend or relative in the area, what do? All right, call a patrol supervisor. Now you notify ACS. It used to be the duty of the desk. Now it's also the duty of the cop. That's a huge point. All right, it's all listed out first. The changes are on the first page of today's lesson. Then I redo the whole lesson. But they repeat themselves. Well, if there's no friend or relative, do this, that, and the other thing. Take it to Child Advocacy Center. But if they're closed, do this. And then later on, step 7, well, if they're closed and now you're at the station house, do this. All right, here's what we do. Instead of repeating ourselves, you take that one statement, no friend or relative, gather everything up for the procedure that deals with what you do if there's no friend or relative, and you put it together under one heading. All right? Call Child Advocacy Center. What if they're closed? Take everything regards to that scenario, put it together under one heading. Okay? So go through 215.01, read it, then go to the lesson. Make the lesson plan your own. Understand how I created this. Why did I put that heading there? You're reading this. Why isn't that step here? And then it's all going to come together. You will become a key student. You will start to understand our method. Put a half an hour or an hour just on the updated Mini 24. You'll see. It's going to be worth your time. Okay. Let's continue. Mini 26, today's lesson. I'm looking. My phone broke. I'm using a laptop. Mini 26, abused kids, 215.3, 215.4. I threw in 215.22 because it's pertinent. 215.3, it's actually called emergency removals without a court order. 215.4 is removal with the court order. Here's what happens. 215.3 is 12 pages long. 215.2, 4 rather, is only 2 pages long. So what happens is, you spend they know this. You spend all your time on 215.3 emergency removals. And there's a lot of information in there. Believe me, I got it down to 3 pages in the key lesson. There's a lot of crap in there you don't need, but there's a lot you do need. But so you spend all your time on 215.03. There's different documentation, etc. And there's a little caveat. All this counts if there's no court order. No time to get a court order. And everybody just disregards it. Like, yeah, I got to study this thing. And you can't. The exam, they sneak in the fact that the body of the question, by the way, there's a court order. Everything you just studied was invalid now. Okay, you go into an abused child question, perspective. Have the overall perspective first and decide, Do we have a court order here or not? If not, okay, we go with 215.03 and all this complicated stuff. But it's not as complicated as it seems, all right? There's a lot of details in there. Again, I shuffle the deck. I bring it all together. There's 6 different pieces of paper. I don't mention them. We go through the steps. Here are the steps, okay? I take each piece of paper because, again, they repeat themselves. They mention them 5 different times, different actors. You'll see. I call it the paper chase. 1 page. There's 6 pieces of paper. Complaint report, a DIR, an aid card, a removal notice, an affidavit notice, and so on. I give each report a heading. Here are the steps. Here are the actors. This is what you do with it. 1 page. Got it all down to 1 page, okay? You got to work with us on this. Read 215.03, it's 12 pages. Go to the key lesson, just like I said to do with 215.01. Do the same thing here. Understand how this lesson was developed, and then you become a key student, and your studies will be half the time. You'll spend half the time and get twice the knowledge. All right, that is truly how this works. A couple of mind points. I said there's a bunch of crap in 215.03 that looks like you don't need to know. If it's in my key lesson, you need to know. Okay? Anything you don't need to know, I left out. Here's an example. Radio signal codes. They seem unimportant, but let me tell you. Ask your boss. Ask around people who've taken tests in the past. They actually tested DARP radio signal codes, the dispositions, 99T3, 99T4. If you didn't know those, you dropped the point. That could have been the difference between getting on the list and keeping off the list. So once they do that, now we see a procedure with radio signal codes listed in it. You got to study them. You got to know them. There's a lot more in there. The lesson is not that long. Like I said, the patrol guide is. Compare. This time, I always say read the patrol guide first, then the lesson. Do that, but then do a comparative analysis and understand how that lesson was created and why I say the things the way I say them, and then you'll become a key student. And now you have this method going forward. Okay, I'll be back probably another 2 weeks. We'll continue on with juveniles. Right? And again, best of luck, especially if you're out there on patrol.